Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapters, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. And lastly, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends and your enemies, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Nissan sales crashing so hard, well, they're no longer in the top 10 automakers. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Motor1.com. Specifically, one of the writers over there by the name of Jeff Perez, is I think one of the best ones. And they say, quote, Nissan drops from top 10 global automaker sales, even Suzuki is better. Wow, that's rough. Nissan ranked 11th in global automotive sales for the first half of 2025, falling out of the top 10 list for the first time in 16 years. That's a rough one. And again, in the United States especially, I mean, Suzuki, to think that they're beating them is almost unfathomable. Suzuki makes great motorcycles. You see those from time to time. In terms of the cars, I mean, in the United States, you barely ever see a Suzuki. Now, again, credit to Jeff Perez at Motor1.com. He says, quote, Nissan's recent struggles are no secret. The company is grappling with financial issues, cutting jobs at its factories, and facing class action lawsuits over faulty engines. Unsurprisingly, the sales numbers reflect that. According to the data gathered by research firm Market Lines, as first reported by Nikkei Asia, Nissan dropped out of the top 10 in global auto sales for the first half of 2025. It's the first time Nissan has fallen out of the top 10 in 16 years. The company's sales dropped 6% to 1.61 million vehicles, well behind industry leaders like Toyota and Volkswagen Group. The sharp decline allowed Chinese automakers BYD and Geely to surpass Nissan, with BYD posting a 33% increase in sales and moving to number 8 on the list. Adding to the blow, longtime domestic rival Suzuki also edged past Nissan, selling 1.63 million vehicles, just 20,000 more. It marks the first time Suzuki has outsold Nissan since 2004. Ouch. Between April and June, Nissan reported a loss of 15.7 billion yen, which sounds terrible, still bad, but in terms of US dollars, that's 105 million US dollars, marking the fourth consecutive quarterly loss. As a stark contrast from the same time period last year, where the company had a profit of 28.5 billion, approximately $191 million. Nissan is struggling on multiple fronts. In the US, the vehicle sales remain sluggish, but the bigger concern is China. Sorry, I mispronounced that wrong. Every time I see the word China, I can't help but hear China. Or maybe that's just me. Its largest market is China, where sales fell 18% in the first half of the year to just 270,000 units. At its peak in 2018, Nissan sold 720,000 vehicles in China. Sales in Japan also decreased by 10% to 220,000 units, the company's lowest domestic sales since 1993. Ouch. Now, they try to say Nissan's road recovery. Maybe you should have a caveat. Their alleged theoretical road to recovery. They say despite a rocky start in 2025, Nissan is making bold moves to revamp its lineup in hopes of turning things around over the next few months. In the US, the company recently launched a new Leaf EV. For a second, I thought it was a stand-up comedian. So they launched a new Leaf EV at a competitive price of $31,485. Which, yeah. But again, in terms of EV's profit, again, people critique Elon Musk. Granted, he makes profit in part because of government subsidies. Most of these other companies are losing money on EVs. Now, they say the refresh sales is gaining momentum with over 50,000 units sold in the first half of the year. There are also reports that Nissan plans to bring back the ultra-rugged Xterra SUV, which, yes, if it is a gas-powered SUV, yeah, Nissan make it. I personally detest SUVs. I always joke if I ever have the privilege of having a family and they say, you have to have an SUV, which I don't believe. But if my family wanted an SUV, I mean, it would have to be 3 pedals, me, be a little bit, have to have that fun part. And the only one I would want would be like a 2009 Porsche Cayenne GTS, which, again, is comically awesome. It had a V8 and a stick shift. I'd drive that. That'd be kind of fun in terms of a family soccer car. Although I still contend that a kid and a wife could fit in a Porsche, but I partially digress, a 911. But I partially digress. In terms of Nissan as a company, yes, they need to make gas-powered SUVs because that's where so much of the profit comes from all these automotive companies. belief is cute, and give them credit for, making a mass production EV. They were one of the first companies to do that. Very impressive. But again, that's not going to make a lot of juicy profit for the company, and Nissan needs that profit. Now, they say, so they do need to bring back the rugged Xterra SUV. They say, meanwhile, in China, Nissan introduced the N7 EV sedan. I swear some of these names are so uninspiring, starting at approximately $16,727, which, whoo-hoo-hoo, the power of deregulation or barely any regulation at all. They have an EV in China for under 17 grand. Yeah, we're not going to get that here. They say the model is already off to a strong start, and the company has several more EVs slated for release in the region in the near future, which, again, I also wouldn't count on because they're going up against BYD, which, again, it's hard to beat China when it comes to ripping off technology, and EVs are just glorified smartphones on wheels. That's why any automaker that's banking on or relying on China to bring them sales, I think that's just ridiculous. I just don't see them beating BYD in the long run. And again, that in China, they partly own the companies. I just don't see that being on their road to recovery. In terms of Nissan's road to recovery, what they should do, I don't know if they will, keep the comical, in many ways, Altima, the gas-powered sedans and SUVs that they make. Because again, a lot of profit comes from those, a lot of recalls. But again, I'm trying to think what Nissan could do to keep the brand alive. I love the fact that they make the Z. It's a cool sports coupe. It's got stick shift, twin turbo V6. That's pretty rare these days. It's awesome. It's even got the old school, crank handle for the parking brake, which I love. But again, that those sales are increasing. They passed the Supra recently. But again, sports cars in general are a smaller category. It's good to elevate the brand. I like the fact that they're doing that. But I mean, Nissan needs to start selling those comical minivans, SUVs, and trucks. They are going down in sales. But yeah, in terms of how Nissan can make a comeback, I would argue never make a CVT transmission again, because those things are a joke and grenaded the reputation brand of Nissan, I think, perhaps permanently, where everyone just has association of those transmissions grenading themselves and requiring them to be completely replaced at a prohibitively expensive price point. And again, I want more competition. More competition is better for the consumer, and hopefully Nissan makes it. But the fact that, Suzuki they're passing them in sales, I'm pretty concerned about Nissan. I hope they make it, but I'm pretty skeptical. Do you think that Nissan will make it? I mean, if I won the lottery, had a magical warehouse or, warehouse for multiple cars, I'd get a Nissan Z. It seems like it's a fun sports car. But would I ever get a sedan? No. Everything else is just so unreliable. I mean, everyone I know who gets a Japanese vehicle these days, and again, you could argue what is Japanese versus American in terms of, do you define that by company headquarters, assembly location of the vehicle, parts percentage of the vehicle manufactured countries? It depends on who you ask. I mean, if you want a company, historically headquartered in Japan, why not get a Honda or Toyota? Again, they have recalls, but they're 1,000 times more reliable than a Nissan. You're going to pay a little bit of a premium, but if you're buying a car that, again, in the United States, on average, Americans keep their cars for about 11 to 12 years. I mean, shoot, I would definitely, I'm a little biased, obviously. I love my old 2018 Honda Civic Si with a stick shift. I mean, I would tend to just go Honda, pay a little bit more for that, or Toyota. But let me know, do you think Nissan will actually make it? What was your experience with the brand? Do you think they can make a comeback? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.